Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining me and thank you for your continued support. I'm in a different setting again today, so apologies if the sound's a bit echoey. Right, so I did a video yesterday about a new amendment that was being put forward to tackle the severe disability sort of plan they want to put in place, the new criteria, if you like. And what I realised actually is since yesterday, there's actually been a number of different amendments put forward for this Universal Credit and Personal Independence Payment Bill. Not all of them are potentially as helpful as the one I mentioned yesterday, but I thought I would cover them all with you so that you can see what they are potentially going to change or amend in this bill before its next reading. But also, there are, of course, a number of people still on X and other social media that simply want the bill to be scrapped entirely. And I completely agree with that. I think it should be scrapped. I don't think it's causing any good whatsoever. I think it's only causing harm. So there is a template letter that you can add your details to and send to your local MP. Now, I realise a lot of you already have, and that is absolutely fantastic. It did help, I think, put pressure on the rebels, but also on other MPs to change their mind. If you want to do this particular letter, if you want to change it, to add your details and email it to your local MP, then I will leave a link to it in the description below so that you can do so. Obviously you don't have to, or if you want to simply write your own letter to them, that's absolutely fine. But the basis of this letter is to completely scrap the bill entirely and to start again, basically. So I will leave that link down in the description below. Let's look at the article now where they talk about the different amendments that have been so far put forward for this Universal Credit Bill. Let's take a look. Okay, here we go. Many PIP and Universal Credit amendments tabled by both sides for next week's final vote. So there's various ones that have been put into place. This is going to list what they are. First of all, the 4-point rule, Government Amendment Government 4, removes Clause 5, the PIP 4 rule, from the bill. If this is accepted, which it will be the end of the 4-point rule unless it is resurrected in the Timms review, which seems unlikely. And I think it does seem unlikely, and I'll tell you why at the end. Universal Credit Freeze. A new clause put forward by the government, Gov NC1, provides for the freeze to the universal health element not to apply to existing claimants, people who meet the severe conditions criteria, and terminally ill patients. This was one of the government's earlier concessions to the rebels. So basically, the freeze to universal credit health element will not apply to existing claimants if you have one of these severe conditions, which I talked about yesterday, or if you are a terminally ill patient. Name. Now this is an obvious one. This is basically to change the name of the bill and remove the words "and personal independence payment." So it's just a universal credit bill now. Severe conditions criteria. Labour MP Graham Downey has tabled this, which I was talking about yesterday. This is the severe conditions criteria. He wants it to be changed to include things that are not just constant, that things are fluctuating conditions, which I know a lot of people have asked, is this included, is that included? It doesn't give a huge amount of idea about what conditions. I think it just wants to include fluctuating conditions, and then hopefully that can be added to and amended and the details honed in if that particular amendment is accepted. So hopefully a lot of fluctuation conditions will be included in that. Okay, so private doctors. An amendment by SNP MP Kirsty Blackman removes the requirement that for the severe conditions criteria, a diagnosis must have been made by a health professional providing NHS services. Many people are forced to resort to a private diagnosis because the NHS waiting list for an assessment can be years long. As the bill stands, having a private diagnosis only appears to bar claimants from the SCC. So this particular MP wants to add the ability to have a private doctor diagnosis as part of the evidence, which I think is a good thing, because even though you're paying for the service of the doctor, that doesn't mean they're going to diagnose you whatever you want. They're not. And I think that it's important that people who are waiting a long time for a diagnosis can go to a private doctor and get the diagnosis, and it can work towards their benefits. Anyway, so that's another one that's been included. Date of universal credit cuts. And Amendment 19 brought forward by Work and Pensions Committee Chair Debbie Abrahams, changes the date on which the universal credit cuts start from April 2026 until November 2026. More reports. A proposed new clause by Lib Dem MP Steve Darling would prevent most of the bill coming into force until a range of reports and consultations have been completed. So basically, even if the bill is put through, it wouldn't come into force until there had been more reports, more consultations and things like that on the bill itself, which I think is good, but then the bill's already gone through. So anyway, and that's it in terms at the moment for the amendments. So it's going to be a chaotic session on the 9th of July. These amendments, or as many as there are time for, will be considered by a committee of the whole House and voted on before a final vote on the whole bill as amended takes place. The Speaker will make a decision on whether the bill will be certified as a money bill only after all of the amendments that are agreed have been included in the bill and it's now in its final form. So a lot of people were asking about whether it's going to be a money bill. I wasn't entirely sure at the time, but now it looks as like once all of the amendments and everything else has been ironed out, then the Speaker will decide whether this is going to be a money bill. And if you don't know what that means, if it goes through as a money bill, it means that the House of Lords has no say over the bill. So normally it would go to the House of Lords, it would be debated again and could be voted out. If it goes through as a money bill, the House of Lords can object, but that won't actually mean anything. The bill will still go through and can go through as quickly as a month. Anyway, but obviously the changes won't take place until later on down the line, but the bill can be passed a lot quicker. Right, so that's the current amendments. If there are any others, I will of course let you know. Or if you see any others pop up that I haven't mentioned there, do let me know. You can email me. I'll put the email across the bottom here. You can email me about anything you think I should be talking about, or if you want to just have a chat about something, email me down there and I do reply as soon as I possibly can. So one of the reasons why I don't think the PIP rule, the 4-point rule, will come back in is because if, as the government have promised, the disabled charities and disabled organisations get involved in the process of reviewing the PIP criteria, I don't think they're going to be putting in a 4-point rule. I think it will be changed, hopefully for the better, if they listen to these disabled charities and organisations. So I don't think they would want a 4-point rule in it, because it discriminates against so many different people. So that's why I don't think it will be included. Obviously, if the government don't use the advice and the guidance of disabled charities, disabled people and other organisations, then who knows. But at the moment they've said they're going to, so that's the reason why I don't think it's going to come back in. But let me know down in the comment section what you think about all of those amendments, which ones you might be happy with, which ones you might not, obviously, and we'll see where we go from there. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you subscribe if you've got this far to help push the channel forward, and until next time, I'll see you then.